Okay, this is the worksheet from 145 on rational functions, the second part of section 1.6. We didn't get to the last two items in the worksheet, so I'm going to record a video here. The question was to locate all the asymptotes and intercepts of the rational function and then find the equations. Alright, so if you look at this one first, you can see that there's a asymptote when x equals minus 2, x equals 1. So let me kind of draw these. And then x equals 1. And then also when x equals, I would say 3. So kind of between these. It's going off the screen, but that looks like the one that they're both hugging. Okay, so then the denominator needs to have all of those factors. So let's see. X plus 2. X minus 1, and then x minus 3. So those are all factors of the denominator. Okay, so I want to point out here that this is not a problem I think you can just do in your head. What I did at this point was I graphed this over or under 1 in Desmos, and it looked kind of close, but the main thing that was missing is it didn't go through 0. That was the first thing I noticed, whereas this guy does. So I put an x in the numerator, and it actually looked pretty close when I made it x. But the problem was still that I have horizontal asymptotes on both sides, right? It looks like they're about the same spot, maybe x equals 2. So the problem is that right now the degree on the bottom is lower, so the horizontal asymptote of the graph I put in Desmos was 0, right, as we talked about. So I'm going to make the numerator x cubed because there's 3 factors on the bottom. So I just made that an x cubed. Now it looks very, very close. And then the last step to get the asymptote, that horizontal asymptote of 2, I put a 2 there because if you expand the bottom, you would see a leading coefficient of 1. And so now it looks pretty good. So that is the answer, I would say. And the key part there was that they also wanted me to know the intercepts, right? The only intercept here was, or the only x-intercept was that y was 0 at 0, 0. And that was a key part of figuring out the numerator. Alright, so the next one, it looks like we have horizontal asymptotes when x is 1. So I think these are half steps. I think that's 1 there. And then if I can read correctly here, I think that this is minus 2. It's kind of hard to see the scale. So that would be, the top might not be 1. I'll fix that in a second. But this would be x plus 2, x minus 1. And actually there's a 0 here at minus 1, so the top should at least be x plus 1. So I'm going to now graph that in Desmos and see what I find. And right now, the horizontal asymptote would be 0, which is what's on the graph, so that looks good at least. And actually it looks pretty good there, so I think that is an okay answer. So here's y equals, and that's it.